section will be covering steep slopes and overhangs. So what is a steep slope or of an overhang? Well, it's part of the structure or the model that extends outwards and is not directly supported vertically. Yeah. If we look to the right, there's an example of a bridge with two supporting pillars. This can be an example of an overhang. Into SpaceClaim, let's create a simple sketch or model that might end up having an overhang when we end up 3D printing it. So let's do an example real quick. We'll just end up pulling this. Okay, another sketch right there. Okay, let's pull this as well. Okay, so let's pretend that we've just made a model of a table right here. Yeah. Now, if you were to 3D print this model of a table like this vertically, this unsupported length over here in between the legs, that would be considered an overhang. Yeah, because what would happen is you'd have layers horizontally in the YX plane slicing through the legs. So layers going up through the legs. Once you hit this point where the legs sort of join up to the bottom of the table, in 3D printing, you'd start building this bottom of the table. And if you're using fused deposition modeling, yeah, so extruding melted plastic, you'd start extruding melted plastic over here on the leg, and the head or nozzle will start going across to this other leg, and the melted plastic will end up drooping all the way here because there's nothing for it to sit on. It's just air in FDM. Yeah. In SLA or stereolithography, yeah, if the build plate was on the bottom of the legs and it was going up, it would have nothing. The laser would shine over here and it would harden the polymer, but it would just fall down because it doesn't bond to anything. It has nothing to bond to or nothing supporting it. So that's pretty much an overhang. Or let's say if you have, let's just do another quick drawing as an example. Let's say you want to build a block like this. Yeah, so the front of a boat, perhaps. Yeah, or a wedge. And if you are building it in this direction, yeah, this edge, yeah, if the build layers are from left to right, as you see on the screen, this edge or this sort of cliff face, that is a steep slope that also doesn't have anything supporting it underneath. So you might have issues with this, with sagging, with drooping. Obviously, if you're using selective laser melting or selective laser sintering, because each layer is deposited in a powder bed, you'd have unmelted powder supporting these structures over here and something for it to bond to. So you're okay. You wouldn't need any additional support structures. But if you're using fused deposition modeling, you need to add something underneath to support that unsupported structure. Usually this is called a support structure. There are quite a few modelers that provide this functionality, but usually this is done after the 3D modeling stage when you are doing 3D printer preparation on the CAD, as in slicing, infill definition, some water tightness repair issues on your 3D model. We'll cover those separately. What's important to take note of right now is that you should have unsupported structures or overhangs or steep slopes in mind when you are designing your parts, because you might do some clever tricks with the orientation or try to sort of mitigate how many unsupported structures are in your model by splitting the model into several pieces. You can do quite a few things to avoid having this issue when you later do 3D print it at the modeling stage. Also, overhangs such as the steep cliff face are only a problem when they are more than a 45-degree angle when measured from the vertical. Yeah. So this is the vertical. So you measure the angle from the straight line above and this way. So if I just do a little bit of a sketch on here with some construction lines. So you can see this would be the vertical, and the way you measure your overhang is here, this distance between these two, yeah, that angular distance, yeah. See, so over here, I just did a quick measurement. You can go into the measure options. You can click this measuring tool and you can select different faces. Depending on your selection, it gives you different measurement lines. I just selected these two construction lines over here by holding Control, and gives me the angle between the objects. See, so over here, this is at 47 degrees from the vertical, the slope. That would mean that we most likely would need some supporting structure for it. If, however, this angle was less than 45 degrees, I personally wouldn't worry about it. That should be okay for a trial run without, or a 3D print without support structures. So let's see if we covered everything for angles of 45 degree. Yeah, so the logic or the science behind the 45-degree angle is that at this point, right, because obviously we work in angular increments of 90, because fully vertical is 0 angle from the vertical and fully horizontal is at an angular degree of 90 degrees, right? Because the two lines, the vertical and the horizontal line, they're perpendicular to each other, which means they're at an angle of 90 degrees. That's just a bit of mathematics over there. So 45 degrees is half. That means that each new layer deposited on top of the previous layer, considering 45 degrees is half, is supported by a minimum of 50% of the previous layer. So considering this minimum of 50%, generally, even lower budget 3D printers can usually cope with such angles. But generally for angles larger than 45 degrees, obviously depending on the quality of the 3D printer, some can cope with this, but usually you start having more problems, or you tend to have more problems at steeper angles. Now, support structures, what they actually are is pretty much, we'll see later on when we cover slicing software, but pretty much they are just additional material, but not as strongly bonded, strongly melted, or strongly glued as the main structure. So it's just a weaker structure that's only there to provide a bit of a layer or something for the new layers deposited to stick to melt on, or just be supported. It's something just more than just an air gap over there. But these support structures, they need to be relatively weak, so once you finish printing your piece, you're able to easily break them off. So again, in this model of the bridge that we have in this image on the right, this hashed red boxes, that would be the support structure, and it would be what we'd want to remove, either by cutting, trimming, filing, or sanding. However, obviously this processing methodology adds to the time, and you have to use additional material to build the supporting structures. So minimizing the need for supports is a key or crucial aspect of 3D printing. However, as you might have noticed when I said previously, some 3D printing technologies don't have problems with overhangs due to the nature of SLS and SLM, where a laser traces the shape onto a layer of metal powder. Each subsequent layer is supported by the powder underneath. If we look at this image underneath, we have the layers represented by the dark orange boxes outlined by blue, and the metal powder is by the light sand color over there. You can see each layer is supported by the powder underneath. This acts as a natural or a support by design. So in these situations, we do not need to incorporate any additional supports into the design.